Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birthday given name. Happy second recording on this Monday morning. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Guys, currently driving, so please bear with me with all this background noise. I wanted to share this really quickly. This is going to be a quick reporting, or it should be, I should say. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful right now for different reasons. But the enemy is sending back narcissists. The enemy is sending back narcissists for different reasons. Okay, so some of you are trying to leave a narcissist situation. Some of you are out of it, and you're kind of toiling back and forth because it's like you've left it, but you really haven't found your footing in your healing season. You'll get there. Just keep being obedient. And then there's some of you that have left. You've went through healing season, and you're firm. You're firm on knowing that you're not going back. You're firm on knowing that God has given you certain boundaries, things like that. And you're good. You're good now. You've discovered peace, and it's all you want. Well, the enemy is literally sending narcissists back because, one, so many of you are about to be blessed in so many ways. And some of these blessings are going to also come back because of the things that you endured, the things that you lost. So God is going to replace many things that you've lost. These can look like things that you had to walk away from because you had to leave the narcissist, and God was like, listen, I don't care about no house. I don't care about no bank account. Leave for your own sanity. Leave for your own protection. I'll take care of you. So you may have left with the shirt on your back. So God is going to restore that and more because of your obedience and trusting Him. Granted, many of this overflow is going to be also for kingdom missions, things like that, but He's going to make sure you're good. Okay, the narcissist knows this. They know this, so don't get it twisted. The narcissist is in the spiritual realm. It's the demonic room, but it's still spiritual. They're in the spiritual realm, so they know when you're going to be blessed. Also, because so many of you have discovered peace, of course, that is complete contradiction to what the narcissists want, right? They want you to be disturbed. They don't want you to have peace. But the fact that your peace is so solid now, how do they know your peace is solid? Is because there's nothing that can shake you. There's no information that can come to you to make you respond. There's no you trying to ask questions about them. Like, they know you're good. They don't want that. They want to disturb your peace. They want to be a part of what's coming to your life. The blessings that you're going to inherit, they want to be a part of that. Here's the problem. Most times, the victims of narc abuse is either empaths, people with those big hearts, serving spirits, things like that. Right? This is typically who narcs target. So with that being said, people with big hearts, it's very hard for you not to be mean to a person, because I mean, that's not what you want to do. That's just not who you are, right? You get on our nerves enough, honey. You can get it, right? But the struggle will be trying to decipher, well, have the person really changed? Listen. Have the person really changed? And I'm a firm believer that anybody can change, right? But God has to do that. But remember, narcs are manipulative. So they're going to start sending messages through other people. They're going to start popping up to wherever you are. However it's going to happen, it's going to be some type of sob story. It's going to be love bombing. The holidays are coming up, so you already know how that goes. Flying monkeys, all that crazy stuff. It doesn't mean you have to be mean to whoever the flying monkey is. If a narc is going to use a flying monkey that you're very fond of, this can look like an ex-mother-in-law, someone who you were really fond of. So it's almost like they're going to target that person as a flying monkey because you won't be mean to that person, or you won't just say, hey, listen, please don't I'm good now. Please don't call anybody. So they're going to use a person that you're very fond of, hoping that you would take bait. Okay? You're going to have to be very strategic. Just send a short answer and keep it there. Don't get all involved. Right? Don't get all involved. Just don't even entertain it. Because the minute you open up that door, the minute you crack the door with too many words, they're going to seep in. They're going to seep in. Because you, with that big, beautiful heart, you're going to truly start to feel sorry and feel like people have changed and, oh, I shouldn't be mean and think back on the destruction that this person has done in your life. Think back everything that you've been through. Think back on your recovery, which you're probably still recovering, might be a lifelong process. Think back on all that. Think back on the times where you were crying out for help and no one was there to help you because the narc manipulated everybody and turned everybody against you. Think back on those lonely nights of crying. Think back on the seasons of trying to rebuild your self-esteem and your confidence because they tore you down so bad. Think back on the things that still torture you, words that torture you that you're still fighting against. Think back on you can't even see yourself the way other people see you because of what the narc has done to your life. Think back on all those struggle times. And even though you may not want to, right, it's crucial. Because if you think back on it, then you remember it. Because see, something about healing in general, that when you discover this place of peace is all you want, so you don't even want to like revisit past traumas and things like that. But many times you may have to kind of reflect back because it's going to remind you. So you came this far to go back. The enemy is also using this time because a lot of people feel like God is silent on them right now. He's using this time because there's a lot of people in the middle of a transformation process. And again, transformation is very uncomfortable because you don't really feel like you have your footing yet. You will, but you don't feel like you have your footing yet. So when you don't feel like you have footing, you don't feel safe, even though you're in the most safe place because you're under the will of God. But you don't feel safe. And anytime we don't feel safe, it's a trigger. It's a trauma response that you want to go back to what's comfortable. And even though the narc is toxic, it's comfortable, because it's crazy how you can end up comfortable in a very toxic situation. But you become immune to that. You've become accustomed to always trying to defend yourself, right? Being quiet because you're always saying the wrong thing, right? Having everybody turn against you when you're not even in the wrong, but they just did some more manipulation tactics, and now everybody's looking at you side eye, and here you are all by yourself trying to fight for your own sanity. God pulled you out of that situation. As hard as it was, God finally got you out of that situation. And God now have you in a process that you may not understand because it's so uncomfortable, because you don't know where God is taking you. You don't have your footing yet, that you're thinking about going back. To those of you who are in the healing season from narc abuse, not those of you at the further end, because you pretty much got your footing, but I'm talking about those who it's so very uncomfortable because you feel like you're stuck between a hard rock and a shell. You're uncomfortable here, but then it's uncomfortable there, but there you know what it's like. You become uncomfortably comfortable, if that makes sense. If you allow God to do this work in you through this healing season, you will arrive to a place where you discover peace that you've never had, protection that you've never had, confidence that you've never had, love that you've never had, relationships, solid faithful relationships that you had, people who are going to have your back that you never had. All this is on the other side, which is the contrast of what you dealt with when it came down to narc abuse, especially those of you where narc had access to you all of your life. You're going to come to this place, and it's hard to see that now, because you're probably like in the middle of this. God may have just pulled you out of it, and you're just trying to keep your head above water. You're going to come to a place. There's going to be a lot of tears, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of because healing itself hurts. No matter what you're healing from, healing hurts. This is why most people won't go into an intentional healing season. Sometimes God will throw your behind up in there if you want to go, if you want to go or not. If you stick it out. And if any of you are listening and you're at that place, right? You are more at that. You're healed. Doesn't mean you're perfect, or it doesn't mean you don't have your triggers or whatever, but you're healed to the point that you know ain't no going back. Even if you have little certain flashbacks or certain little things, but you know you're not going back. Please comment and give some of your brothers or sisters in the comment sections some inspiration, because I get a lot of messages about people who are either, well, truth, I don't know, or I can't remember one who said they left on their own without either God snatching the rug, which that can look like the narc abandoning you, or just something happened where you had to leave. Like God made it where you had to leave. I don't think, at least not me, I haven't heard someone say that they left just because they got tired of the narc. It's almost like you can be tired, but you're so low that you can't really just, I won't say you can't leave on your own, but with most people, it came with the very, 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 very heavy conviction from God. It's almost like God really got stern with you, because he's been trying to really help you get out of it, and it's just, you can't really do it on your own. But at some point, he really, really got very stern with you in some type of conviction. Or again, maybe the narc left you, whatever the case may be. I personally don't know anybody, maybe you guys have, where you yourself just got tired one day with no type of conviction, and you just say, you know what, I'm just tired, I'm leaving you on your own. I'm sure it's possible. I just personally haven't heard anyone say that. It's just because you're too tied up in that web. I mean, you don't know your head from your feet when you're dealing with narcissists. But please encourage those who are really, really in the thick of this thing. They're like in the thick of it, seriously. But to those of you, and you're coming out of it and you've healed, be on alert, be on guard that the narcs are attempting to come back, because you are about to be abundantly blessed. You cannot let the narc back in. I don't care about the holidays. It's like, oh, the holidays is like so beautiful and so full of love, and the holidays is, oh, I'm such in a great mood, right? That's the time. They're very strategic. That's the time they're going to try to seep on back in. So be on guard, be very aware, because all the blessings that God have coming to you, or that you currently are a part of, the narc cannot be a part of that. So don't miss your blessings or have your blessings on hold, because you're going to be disobedient to the very thing that God pulled you from to save your life. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.